Have you ever wondered why some people feel tired and older than they should, even when they are only in their 20s? Have you noticed how some people stay energetic and clear-minded even at 70, while others struggle with fatigue much earlier? And what if scientists are now studying an ancient breathing practice that may help the body slow down the aging process in ways they still cannot fully explain? Many people today feel a quiet energy loss that seems to appear out of nowhere. You wake up after 8 hours of sleep but still feel drained. Your mind becomes foggy in the afternoon, your motivation drops, and simple tasks begin to feel heavier than they should. Modern life is often blamed: long work hours, screens, stress. But researchers are now looking deeper into the body's cells. Inside every cell are tiny energy engines called mitochondria. The human body has trillions of them, and they create the ATP energy that powers every thought, heartbeat, and movement. When these engines weaken and molecules like NAD+ drop, energy fades and aging slowly begins. Yet thousands of years ago, monks and ancient teachers practiced breath control, oxygen shifts, and cold exposure to awaken what they called inner. Many people believe aging begins when someone turns 50 or 60, but small changes inside the body can begin much earlier. Think about how many young adults today feel tired even before the day truly begins. You may sleep for 7 or 8 hours, yet by the afternoon, your energy suddenly drops. Many people call this the 3 p.m. crash. You drink coffee, scroll through your phone, and try to push through the day, but the tired feeling slowly returns. This does not always mean you lack motivation or discipline. In many cases, it means your body's energy system is working harder than it should. Deep inside every cell of your body are tiny structures called mitochondria. These are like microscopic power stations that turn oxygen and nutrients into energy called ATP. Your body contains trillions of them, and every movement you make depends on them. When you walk, think, study, or even feel emotions, mitochondria are quietly producing the fuel that keeps everything running. Scientists estimate that your body produces and uses about your own body weight in ATP energy every single day. That shows how important these tiny engines really are. But research shows that mitochondria can become weaker over time. Stress, poor breathing habits, lack of movement, and constant screen exposure may slowly reduce how well these cellular engines work. When mitochondria struggle, they produce less energy and release small amounts of waste that can build up in cells. Long before modern laboratories existed, people in ancient cultures were quietly studying the connection between breath and energy. In the high mountains of the Himalayas, travelers told unusual stories about monks who could sit in freezing weather, wearing only thin robes. Snow covered the ground around them, yet their bodies stayed warm. In some old demonstrations, wet cloths were placed on the backs of these monks during winter nights, and the cloths slowly dried from the heat their bodies produced. For a long time, people believed these stories were myths, but later, scientific studies showed that certain breathing practices can truly change how the body produces heat and uses oxygen. Ancient teachers believed breathing was not only about air moving in and out of the lungs. In Tibetan traditions, it was described as creating an inner fire, while in Indian teachings, it was linked to a life energy called prana. These systems taught that the rhythm of breath could calm the mind, strengthen the body, and improve the flow of energy through the nervous system. Today, researchers also know that slow, deep breathing can activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps the body relax and repair itself. Another important detail is how people breathe in modern life. Many studies show that most people now breathe shallowly from the chest instead of deeply from the belly. This type of breathing sends subtle stress signals to the brain and reduces how efficiently. For many years, the stories about breath, cold, and inner energy sounded mystical. But in the last 2 decades, scientists began discovering small biological clues that may explain why these ancient methods work. One important discovery was a protein inside our cells called PGC1-alpha. Researchers describe it as a master switch that helps the body create new mitochondria. This process is called mitochondrial biogenesis, which simply means building new cellular energy engines. When this switch turns on, the body can increase its ability to produce energy, repair cells, and support long-term health. Scientists also discovered an interesting idea called hormesis. Hormesis means that small amounts of stress can actually make the body stronger. Exercise is a good example. When you run or lift weights, your muscles experience a challenge. After resting, they rebuild and become stronger than before. Breath holding and cold exposure work in a similar way. They create a short, controlled challenge that tells the body to adapt. Cold exposure is especially powerful. When the body feels cold water or cold air, it activates something called brown fat, a special type of fat that burns energy to produce heat. This process increases mitochondrial activity and improves how the body manages energy. Cold also triggers proteins that help protect cells during stress. Modern research has also looked at breathing methods combined with cold exposure. Now that we understand how breath, oxygen levels, and cold signals affect the body, the next step is learning how a simple daily practice can activate these systems. Many ancient traditions used a breathing pattern that begins with about 30 slow, deep breaths. You inhale through the nose, allowing the belly to expand, and then gently exhale through the mouth. This style of breathing fills the lungs more completely and allows more oxygen to move through the blood. As the rhythm continues, the body begins to relax, the mind becomes quieter, and the nervous system slowly shifts into a calmer state that supports repair and balance. After these deep breaths, the next step is a short breath hold. The person exhales gently and pauses before the next breath. During this moment, oxygen levels drop slightly, which sends a signal through the body that encourages adaptation. This mild challenge activates survival pathways that can support energy regulation and cellular resilience. Many researchers believe this type of oxygen shift may help stimulate the systems linked to mitochondrial growth and repair. To strengthen the effect, many traditions combine breathing with brief cold exposure. A short cold shower, even for 30 seconds to 1 minute, can activate the nervous system and increase circulation. Cold water stimulates brown fat activity, which burns energy to create heat and supports mitochondrial function. The most important part of this practice is consistency. When we look at the human body closely, we begin to see that it is not a weak system slowly wearing out. It is a living system that is always trying to adapt and repair itself. Inside every cell, tiny engines called mitochondria are working day and night to create the energy that powers our thoughts, movements, and emotions. When these engines become weaker, our energy drops and aging begins to feel faster. But the body also has built-in ways to rebuild and strengthen these systems when it receives the right signals. Ancient traditions discovered simple methods that gently challenge the body through breathing patterns, small changes in oxygen levels, and short moments of cold exposure. Today, science is slowly finding biological reasons behind these ideas, from mitochondrial growth to the body's natural stress response called hormesis. These signals encourage the body to adapt, repair cells, and improve how energy is produced. The most powerful lesson is that change does not always require something complicated. Sometimes it begins with something as simple as breathing deeply, slowing down, and giving the body a moment